Parasite was the first song that I wrote in almost a year. It was around the time that I started boxing, and boxing was my response to dealing with some pretty severe depression. It was in the fall time, and I live in southeast Michigan, so around that time it stays pretty dark until late in the morning, and it's also pretty cold. I'm typically an early riser. I like to be up around 5 a.m. or something, and so that's when I was doing my walks. So it was in the dark and in the cold. It was something that I actually grew to appreciate. A lot of the times that I would go for those walks, I would find myself with my eyes closed, actually, just walking down the road, through the woods or something. I'm not really sure why I did that. I guess I was just trying to find some peace of mind, to just get a little bit of quiet. It was a really intimidating time in my life. Really, I'd never experienced these kinds of thoughts and feelings before, and I didn't know what else to do. And so I just thought I need to get up and move, sort of kind of busy my body and my mind at the same time. I wasn't thinking about music. I wasn't thinking about art. I don't even think I was thinking about health and exercise. I just needed some relief from my mind racing all the time. But nothing was working, and I wasn't really sure what else to do. After a couple of months of this, I started having the words, "I've been dying to meet you, now give me all that you are." I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think of it as music or lyrics or anything like that at the time. But it felt relatable to me because I felt like I was really a drain on everyone around me. My partner, my kids, my family, and my coworkers. I was also trying to sort of numb away the pain or the discomfort, and so I was increasingly intoxicated with a few different things, and I justified it away for a long time by saying it's helping me not feel bad, or it's helping me forget about the bad, But I know now that wasn't the right way to go for it. I think that's around the time that the Parasite comparison sort of started to make sense to me. It's like I was hurting, but I also felt like I was hurting the people around me as well. After a while, those lines that were going through my head started having other ones accompany them. One of them was, "It's miserable but true." And it was happening a little bit more, where more lines were starting to get stuck in my head. And I think that was the time that I started considering that maybe I was writing a poem. The line, "Instinct is kicking in, forever a shame." It was me talking to myself negatively, saying that, this is just who I am, and that's just how it's gonna be. And the more I went on those walks, it stayed darker longer. The cold would turn into ice and sometimes snow. And I kept going on my walks. I kept sticking with this daily ritual that I had. And I found myself becoming more inspired by it, or at least inspired to meet that frustration with some sort of expression. And eventually one day, the end of the song came to mind. So if I wanted to run, I'd break my feet off before I begin. So I'd just sit here and take it in strides. I think that was the first time that I realized I was actively fighting against these feelings. Maybe that I was actively expressing myself. And after many mornings of this, I started sort of humming it to myself. And I think that was maybe the first time that I realized maybe it's not just a poem, maybe it's in fact a song. And it's why whenever I say that I think music is saving me, that I meant it quite literally. I mean, I was down, man, and I didn't know how to move forward, and I didn't even know if I wanted to move forward in some of those moments. It's easy to let the negative thoughts get you down, and it's kind of embarrassing sometimes to think about, or at least it's easy to feel embarrassed for having certain kinds of thoughts. And I don't know why music started to pop into my head. I mean, I've been a musician for a lot of my life, and so I'm not really surprised that music popped into my head, but I was not thinking about art and music and poetry, and I feel like this song found me in a time where I felt like I didn't have anything. To me, that's like the most beautiful thing about it. And to think that I'm only that drain on people is really hard to face and to get past. But I felt like Parasite found me when I wasn't looking for it, and something in my life at the time helped me to feel inspired to fight back against that. Shortly after realizing that I was writing music again, I found Mark's video online of him playing a section of Polar Reflection. The rest is sort of the history of how Splitfuse started. It only came because I allowed myself to use art to get through another tough time in my life. And that's something that I truly believe, and I certainly believe even more so now, that art and expression is the way to get through the tough times in life. I don't think they're the only ways, but I think they're some of the most powerful ways to do it. And I think everybody has the ability to express themselves and to be creative. For me, that's what Splitfuse is. It all started with Parasite, and that's what I love about the fact that we released that at the end of the Crystal Shroud era. It started there for me, and we got to put a cap on things with that song. Crystal Shroud overall is about fighting back. It's about survival in the most sincerest form of it. I know I'm not the only person that struggles with mental health. I know that each of us is on our own path, our own journey. Thankfully, I feel like I'm in a really great place right now. This is 3.5 years later, almost 4 years later now, from the time that I wrote Parasite to making this video. You know, I'm sober now, and I've gone through a lot. What I've learned is that accepting things as they are, but knowing that you can always have an impact on them, has become the most powerful thing for me in my life and for handling these challenges that I face personally. But you have to make the decision to do it, and for me that's what Parasite is about. It's about naming some of the things that I was facing in those moments and allowing them to come through me and serve as art, serve as music. And I'm thankful to have such good buddies in Isaac and Mark to help me see that idea become reality. So if you've enjoyed Parasite, I really hope that you can understand that it's meant to encourage us out of our darkest times. It was written while I was uncomfortable, and now as I sing it, as I listen to it, it's freeing. It reminds me of where I'm coming from and what purpose it served in my life. To anybody out there that's struggling with mental health, I hope you can listen to that song and get something from it. Ultimately, I hope that you know that letting it out is a huge part of getting past it.
Kicking you!